end of this tutorial, you should be able to create characters like this in Blender using just PNG files, that is image files. So let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome to 200 3D. So right now we're just going to dive into it. So this is where we stopped in the last tutorial. So now we need to add IK to our bone, just so that when we move our bone from this angle here, from this point, that is from the center of our body, when we move it, instead of the entire body to move, her knee will understand that there's a ground here, and if you just the knee will just bend. So let me just show you an example. So if I select this now, if I select this and then I go into pose mode, if I press G, you see it moves. That is not what we want. We want it to be able to respond for the knee to bend when we drag this downward. So let's just do that quickly. So select your leg bone, and then what we need to do is to name the bone. So we're going to pose mode and we select this, and then we'll come here. Already I've named this, so this is shin, and shin L, that's left. So I'm supposed to, let me do this also. This is shin, so right. Okay, so now we need to go into edit mode. Go into edit mode, select this point, extrude. So you use E, you extrude a bone here, and then you come down here, you extrude another bone here. So what we need to do is we need to select this, and come to relations here and just delete this, remove this. It's not supposed to be joined to this. So perfect. Now you do the same for this. Select this, and then there should be no relation. So just remove this parent, so it shouldn't be parented to that. So remove this, and then you select this also. You come down here and you make sure it doesn't deform the mesh. And when I say mesh, I'm talking about the image. The images were imported, so just on click that, on select that. Also do that for this. Perfect. Okay, so now we need to select this, move it forward a little bit. So you move it like this to this point, and we need to rename this bone. So this is bone 3. This is she, not shin. That's not supposed to be shin. This is okay. This is so let's just name this. Let's just rename this. Let's get out of edit mode and go into pose mode, and so we can name this bone. So let's just give this ankle. Let's call this ankle.L. Let's call this knee.L. Perfect. So now we need to select this. That's the shin. We need to select that. Come into our constraint here, add a new constraint, and then select inverse kinematics. So when you select that, you now have the option to select your bones. So the first thing you do, you select your bone here, this bone, and then this target armature, and then you click this, and then you have to connect this to your ankle. So let's make this ankle. Boom. So now we need a pole target. So click this pole target and let it be the same armature. So let's just select the armature we're working on, and then the bone we need it to pull towards should be the knee. So the knee.L. Perfect. Okay, so we need to increase the chain. We need to increase how far this is supposed to change. Right now it's just working on the entire bones. So just increase this chain to 2. 1, 2. So now when we select this and we move it, you see, perfect. It's moving perfectly. So you see it's deforming correctly. Her legs are deforming correctly, which is what we want. So there's still more that we have to do. Okay, so now we need to be able to use this bone to rotate this. That's the foot, her foot, but right now it's not functioning right. We cannot rotate her foot. We can only like move her knee and stuff like that, and we need to be able to do that. So just go into edit mode, select this, and then select this, and then Ctrl P. When you use Ctrl P, you see keep offset. Click keep offset. Perfect. So now when we go back to our pose mode, when we move this, as you can see, it stays the same. it stays straight instead of it doesn't bend. So that's good. So it means we can rotate this around. But now the issue that we might be having is when you move this far, like you keep moving it disconnects from the leg, and that's not what we want. So we need it to be positioned at this point here, So what do? We select this, or rather we select this, and then we add a constraint. So you come back to this bone constraint, you add a constraint, and then this time copy location. That's what you select. So click copy location, and then you need to click the armature that you're working with, and then what bone is the target, what bone should it copy its location. So it should be the shin. That is this is what we need this to still retain on the shin, so it should be connected to the shin. So what do? We select this back, and then we add our shin dot L. This L, right? Yes, good, perfect. Now you see it has moved, and that's it moved in 3D. So there is sort of I'm coming to that. Okay, so the reason why we had that issue was we applied the copy location to the wrong bone. So it's not this bone. We should not use, it's not this bone that you use. So let's just undo that. Just delete this copy location. Now this is the bone we're supposed to use to copy this location, because this bone was just created recently. So it's this bone that is disconnecting. So G, this is the bone that disconnects. So this is the parent of this. So you don't do it with this one. So let's just select this, and then we'll come to copy location, click copy location, and then we'll add our armature. That's the bone. And then we add our bone, that's the shin L. So shin L. And now boom, it has jumped to this location, and that is because it is at the head, not the tail. So all you just need to do is move this head slash tail, move it to 1. So when you move it, now you have it at this position. So now you can move this G, and then you move it downwards, and it doesn't disconnect. So the leg stays the same at the same position. Just so that you see what I'm doing. So see, boom, perfect. Okay, so we're supposed to now replicate the same thing on this other leg. So I'm just going to do it, and then I'll come back, just so that we do not waste so much time on this, so we can move to other stuff. Okay, so we're done putting everything in place. We were able to duplicate the same thing for this leg. So right now we want it to be able to have a waist. So let's just come into edit mode, let's enter edit mode, and then let's select this point here and extrude. Now we have a bone here, boom. And this bone, let's just name it, let's call it waist. So come to bone here, and let's call it waist. And I feel like maybe this should not deform the mesh. Let's just ignore that for now. Okay, so now let's go back into whatever mode. So let's select this and select this, and then go into pose mode. So go into pose mode, and now we select this and select this. The last one you select is the one that's going to be the parent. So this and this parent, and then let's make it bone. So now these two are, whenever I move this will also come along. So not like this, I'm coming. So whenever I move this like this is, well, what's happening? I don't think it parented right. Okay, so coming to that, okay, let's select both, go into pose mode, select this and P, and boom. Okay, it seems like the reason why we're having that is because I'd already parented this to this. So that's why if I move this, the entire thing comes along. So we have to unparent it. That was a mistake. So click both bones, and then well, I think it's both like this. So just come to Control P, not that, come to pose here, come to parent, and then clear parents. That's what we need to do. So clear parents, when you do that now, this bone becomes separate. So now we can do that now for real. So select this and select this lastly, and then Control P, and then let's select bone. So now when I select this and I move G, You see, this is now controlling this. So now we need this to also control this bone. So let's just go back into our object mode, select only this bone, and then now let's use tab. Click, press tab, which will take you into edit mode. Now you click this and click this, and then you press Ctrl P, and you have keep offset. So make parents keep offset. Select this and select this, and then do the same. Ctrl P, keep offset. So now if I go into let's go into pose mode. So if I go into pose mode and wow, boom, it's now moving the entire body, which is what we want. So now if you just observe, let me just turn this off. So if I move this downwards, it knows that this is the ground, so it will bend her knee. So perfect, you see, she can jump. Perfect. Okay, so this is what we want. So at least now we've been able to rig her legs, we've been able to do her body. So you come here, you should be able to bend her body like this, which is just perfect. So everything is looking very, very good so far. So like this, you can move her body. You can hit this, and then move her shoulders. So boom, that's good. Perfect. Okay, now it means we can easily make our character walk. Okay, so now to the hands. Now let's work on the hands. So let's just make this visible. Okay, so now for the hands, let's go. I hit that somewhere. This is the shoulder. Perfect. Okay, the shoulder, everything should be within this point, this part, because they are all parented to it. So let's just make everything visible here. And, let's make the finger visible. Finger, why not? Okay, so we now have her hands, her fingers. That's it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now all we need to do is select the shoulder and then click this bone. Okay, we're not supposed to be in pose mode. Go back into object mode, select her hand. That's the shoulder, that is the main hand, the one that controls all the other hands inside of it. So click that, and then click. I'm not going to add bones for the hand because it's unnecessary, honestly, and it will actually hold you back a bit, because there are certain things that I want to teach you that will give you, like, it will really widen your horizons, especially animating directly without even using bones completely. So that's why I'm leaving the hands like this. So make sure you select this, and then select your bone, and then go into pose mode. I like using shortcuts. But go into pose mode, and then make sure this bone is selected, not this one. This one is selected. Control P, and now boom. So now the hands are now joined with this. So let's just go back into our object mode. Now we need to work on the second hand, and there's a reason why I did not even bother making the second hand. That's because you could just duplicate this and move it here. I made the hand in such a way that it works. You could just flip it and it will work on this like right here as the second arm. So all we need to do is select this and select this and select this and move it, right? Okay, yes, that's it. But before we do that, there's something that I need you to learn. Okay, so now select her hand and let's isolate it. Let's just isolate it. So now what you will notice is there are several hands here. If you move, as you keep moving, the hands keep changing. But as it gets to the final, it doesn't move again. It stays at the final, and it keeps staying and staying and staying forever like that. And it starts at 1. So we know that there are about 52 fingers, and so there are 52 frames here. So 1, 2, 52, and then that's it. So there are 52 fingers here. So all we need to do, because this will not work, especially if you're animating, you cannot, there's no way of changing the finger after 52, and you don't want it from the beginning, the fingers just keep popping and just keep changing and changing and changing, and that doesn't help you in any way. Okay, so how we normally are supposed to animate this is we're supposed to come to this, that's the material tab, that is the material for this, and then come down to this, and then when you click this, everything here is it can be animated. So like you can animate anything that is here. So by just pressing I, let me just put in a key here. So if I press I now here, let's put offset. If I press I, you see that this has appeared. A key has been loaded in. So this is a key, and it has been loaded in automatically. And it's the same thing if I move here too and I press it again, it loads in. So you tend to get keys, and so that's how we'll be able to animate this. I know there are several ways of doing this. There's a way that you could actually use bones, but it's really unnecessary. All you are doing is animating the offset, so you do not have to worry about all those. So let's just delete this for now. Delete. Now what we know is that we have 52 hands, and that's 52 frames. So what we need to do is to move the start frame by -53, just so that it starts at this it's like the first 52 arms will play up until this point, and then the final arm will play. So if you put -52 here, so this whole place, you see that it's not, it doesn't move again, but if you could move back, you'll be able to see that it moves. So now this is where we will now be able to animate the offset. So if I want the default hand at first to be the one that will display, so I could go to 50, like 51, like this, and then I could put in a key. So put a key, and then I could move like this to like 15, and then move it to maybe this finger. I want it to be this finger, and then I could put a keyframe, and then by pressing I, of course, and then I could move again and then take it back to the default. So let's take it back to the default, and then put put a keyframe there. So now we have the finger, but you can see that it's interpolating, and this is not what we want. So it's not supposed to interpolate. So all you just need to do is select everything right here, press T. When you press T, this will be available to you, interpolations. So you do not want a linear interpolation, you do not want a Bezier interpolation, you want a constant interpolation, so it moves from key to key. So when I click this now, you see it doesn't change till it gets to the next frame. So boom, 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 default arm, then to shift to this one, boom, 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 this hand again, you need to shift to default hand. This is what you want, and this is exactly how we're going to be animating the hands, and even animating the mouth for maybe lip sync or whatever. Is the same method that you use to animate those parts. I know that there is a way of doing it that you use drivers and use use bones to do that. Very unnecessary, honestly. I've seen tutorials about that. Those are just too complex and unnecessary, when you could just come here and it will really, and honestly, when you're doing animation, you need as much time as possible. So you need to save as much time as possible to be able to hit your target time, the time that you want to submit. So those things are unnecessary. Just stick to what is here, make it as simple as possible. Even these bones, I'm going to teach you a system where you do not really have to use bones. Like if you want to just make a fast animation, you do not have to use so many of these things. They are very unnecessary and they will just waste your time. So just stick to this, and this is exactly how we're going to get her hands to be able to change, her fingers to be able to change. So okay, so now let's go back. Perfect. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to duplicate this hand and put it here. But if you duplicate this, it keeps the same material. So if I duplicate this, it keeps the same material. So whatever changes I make here will apply to that, because they're using the same material. So there's a way getting around that. So now let's duplicate both hands. Let's duplicate the hands, and then we'll deal with that afterwards. Let me just move this here so that I don't like as it's so let's just select this, then Shift D will duplicate it for you. So Shift D, and now we have a new arm, and let's just move it in place. So let's just move it here first, because we need to be able to place everything correctly. Let's drag this thing down, this timeline. We do not need it for now. So as you can see, if I click this now, the keyframes are available because those duplicated. But anything I change here, so if I come here and then I try to change this, the other hand changes, and that's not what we want. So how do we get around that? So you come here to the material, and all you just need to do is click this tool. When you click this tool to create a new material for you for this particular arm, so it duplicates it, but it doesn't to duplicate its material also. So just click 2. When you click 2, now when I do that, you see that it does only one moves. So okay, I think that reached it. What am I doing? Okay, so if I move this now, okay, so I undid that just so that I'll do that all over again, just so that you get the hang of it. Select this and then come here, press 2. When you do that, this now appears. So now you cannot actually do anything with this. If you move this, it doesn't really change anything. But if you select this one and you move it, it will change, and it will still be changing it, which is not what you want, because they are all sharing the same image. So what you need to do, you need to come, I just undid that. So you need to come here and also click 2 here. When you click this, it does now created, it's now seeing it as a different, oh no, not that one, sorry, my bad, undo that. So it's this one that we're worried about. So this is the one that you click, and then you click 2. So when you do that, you now have it as a separate entity of its own. So when you do this, you see that it's moving independently. When you click this one and you do this, it's moving independently. Perfect. This is all we want. And now, so all we will now do is to place the hands, and then we'll now go into the next part of this video. So okay, so let's just click this. This is all we need to flip, because we could arrange the rest. So just scale. Okay, you cannot flip this per se, because this is actually still linked to this. So this is, so let's just flip the entire thing. So scale, when you click scale, you see you're scaling it now. You're scaling it, but now we need to scale it on the x-axis so that it will flip. So scale on the x-axis, press X, and then -1. And when you do that, you flip it. Boom. This is all we need. So let's drag it to its rightful position, drag it down a little bit, because perspective, of course. So like this is fine. And then now let's just rotate it a bit so that we'll be able to place it in its right wide direction. So put it just in front of the shoulder, but behind the torso. Perfect. Nice. So now we have this, but this is still like, this hand is still sharing the same parent with this arm. So now if I click this and I go into like object mode, pose mode, and then I move this, you see the arm is moving, and that's not what we want. We want it to be parented to this. So simple, just select this and select this and go into your pose mode. Make sure this is selected and Alt P. So when you use Alt P, not Alt P, let's just go here and come to our parent and then clear parent. So clear parent, boom. Now this is now on its own. So now if I just click just that, this, if I click just this and I move this, that other arm doesn't follow. So now we need this to be parented to this. So click both, go into pose mode, select, make sure this is selected, Control P, and then boom, boom. And then now this is the one that is now controlling. This is now its parent. So boom, 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 boom. Perfect. Okay, good. So this is perfect now. All right. So now we have been able to do everything. Okay, now so if you come here like this, you move this, you see, no, that's the wrong one. Move this. Now it should be able to bend with her arm. What am I doing? Okay, for some reason that is still not parented correctly. So this is supposed to be dragging this. So I think for some reason I made a mistake somewhere. So let's just select both this and this. Select this, Control P, and then let's make it its own. So this is supposed to be controlling that now. So let's just select this and go into pose mode, and it should be moving the entire thing, including her hand. So boom, 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 boom. This is good. Lovely. Okay. So Let me just turn this off. And this hand is coming through, and that's just because the is not positioned well in the y-axis. So I made everything so close that okay, let's just move this further back a bit. Let's select this, move it just a little bit back, move this arm and the shoulder, move the shoulder, give me the shoulder, and this arm, let's move it back in space just a little bit, just so that the fingers are behind. Perfect, the fingers are now behind. So everything is fine now. Everything should work properly. Everything is working properly actually. So I just do this now. Now our character is fully rigged and ready to go. And if you're wondering how I'm going to be animating the hand, that's really easy. So in the next tutorial we'll discuss that, we'll talk about that. So for now, this is all that I have. Let me just save this quickly. This is all that we have so far. We've been able to rig everything about this character. Okay, so in the next tutorial maybe we could be covering the bouncy boobs and the bouncy hair, and then maybe we'll talk about some other few things like the hand, and then eventually maybe after that we'll now run a simple animation or a walk circle or something, just anything. So for now, thank you for watching. Please give us a like, give us a sub. It will help us to reach more people, and it will also help us to reach you with more contents like this in the future. Thank you and bye for now.